Hello, Kevin Hurricane Hudson here. How do you get functional flexibility like that? Well, stay tuned and I will show you some good hip loosening skills that will help you improve your kicking and your stretching. Through the years, I've had many students ask me about hip mobility and hip flexibility. How do I improve my hip mobility so that I can kick well and perform like I want to perform? Well, let me go through a couple of simple stretches you can do on a regular basis to help loosen these hips up. So let's start out with our feet apart. I always like to start standing and then I move to a seated, more of a static stretch, but I like to do standing first because I want to keep pressure on my hips. So gravity is a beautiful thing. So I'm here, I put my hands on my hips, I rotate my hips in a circle, leaving my head pretty well centered, just going around here maybe 8 to 10 times, and then go the other direction. Now when you do this, you'll hear the old snap, crackle, pop, which is fine because we're agitating that sac to get that fluid moving, that lubricant moving inside your joint. Now, once I go hip rotation left and right, I like to lean left and right a little as well. And what this does is helps loosen that lower back a little bit. And then I go forward and back. So that's 3 different stretches you can do just standing stationary. We do the hip rotations, we pendulum side to side and go forward and back. Now, after you do that for maybe 10 to 12 rotations each side, and then 10 to 12 pendulums going forward and back 10 to 12 times. Sit down on the floor, and then from here, put your feet flat, okay? And leaning back like you're watching television. Now from here, you're gonna take each knee and you're gonna drop it down and try to touch it to the floor. Drop it down and try to touch it to the floor. And you'll feel one hip is probably a little more inflexible than the other. So you just try 1, 2, 3, 4. And I like to do this about 10 times. There's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's just a great stretch to work on those hips a little bit, okay? Now, the next thing I like to do, and this one's a little more challenging, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me, is I cross one foot over the other. So, see what I mean? I just cross this over. Now, I take my hands, I put them between this triangle. There's a triangle in here where my hand is. I put my hand in between that triangle and I lie back and I grab my leg here and I just pull my my knee toward me, and what you'll feel is a great stretch in the glute area down here in the hip joint. So I'm pulling this way and stretching that hip joint out, okay? Now I'm gonna hold this, 10 to 15 seconds, get where I'm relatively comfortable breathing, and then I'll switch. I'll do the other side, the same exact thing. This one's here, reach through, grab that, and then pull that to me. And I'm going to hold this for 10 to 12 seconds as well. So this is a wonderful stretch. So if you start with the rotational stretches up top, and then seated, doing the knee touches, and then this one here, and then the next one is I get on all fours. I keep my knees together in the center, just get on all fours, and I rock my hips left and right. So all I'm doing is I'm just rocking my hips left and right, okay? Now, doing this, you'll feel it stretch in the glute area, and you'll get a nice stretch each side. And then once you've done that a few times, you can stand back up and go back to your rotational stretches one more time. And then after you do that, you can spread them out as far as you can. And I always like to brace myself to start with, just to get some good brace and get a nice stretch here, just like so, okay? So that's what we want to do. So those hip stretches, I would recommend doing those before you go to bed at night, and that will help you get the body loose before you lay down in the bed and spend 5, 6, 7, 8 hours in bed asleep. The rigor mortis sets in when you sleep in a little bit. So this will help loosen them up a little bit. And that's part of the STS system that I talk about, my sequentially time stretching system. So that's a big chunk of it. So do that on your own. and you'll be getting some better stretches, and pretty soon you'll be kicking head high. Remember to like this video and subscribe to this channel for the latest and greatest in high performance living, flexibility training, and martial arts training. Click the link below, enter your email address, and I will send you a tip that could actually double your flexibility in as little as 30 days. See you next time.